Many of you have come to figure out, I think over time with my publication of books, that I normally don't go into any certain determination of depth or levels of depth on the type of grimoire it's going to be. Generally I provide a title, the rough general outline, but the reason for that is there's an extensive amount of energy that I put into each grimoire, and grimoires like Mask and Whole I still use to this day. I go through a period where I complete the workings, research, things like that, and then I go back and I reinvigorate myself with the rituals. Dragon of the Two Flames is probably the most intense to date, and it will continue to be a grimoire I always work with. Some of the older rituals from the Luciferian covens that I operated early in the 2000s, I don't really perform with any regularity or in any group setting at this time, just because I've kind of moved past a certain level, and including the rites in Liber HVHI. Doesn't mean they won't be useful to some of you who find that paradigm very interesting, or that deific mask outlook. The current, I have many grimoires in the works right now. One is on Egyptian Sethianism, or Satanic cult of mask, the Luciferian tradition of Charles Pace, continuing with me. Very exciting grimoire because it's going to not only cover the Luciferian Satanic traditions that Pace presented, but it goes to authentic, mainly New Kingdom and Old Kingdom, all the way through Ptolemy's Egypt, concerning magic. Vampiric Typhonian, based on Kenneth Grant's Nightside current grimoire, that's based in vampirism. Very good stuff in terms of, and some very controversial things like a vampiric working that we conducted in 2010 centered around the Haitian earthquake, which people will have either like it or hate it, but it is a authentic left-hand path dark grimoire, Liber, or actually Second Apet, which is the power of Apet. And finally, what I'm going to show you guys an example, and this isn't all I have in the works, but it's a Babylonian, Mesopotamian grimoire centering around the 7 evil spirits or evil gods, the Sebeti, and primarily Nergal, Lord of the Underworld and War, and Lamashtu, or Labartu. Labartu is a major ritual focus for me in my workings in Black Order of the Dragon and vampirism, astral vampirism, dream vampirism, projection, but also as a symbol of the Luciferian, as an instinctual, calculating energy consumer, and to be more precise, not harming anyone. It's utilizing the energy around you to shape your tomorrow, and going against what the presided or the confirmed normal tells you to be. Lamashtu is the inspiration for a type of technique I utilized to where nothing anybody says, opinion-wise, publicly, matters. You have your own spirituality that is very strong and probably kept secret from society to a greater extent, which is fine. We stalk the shadows and we make things happen. But the greater thing is that you do not have to rely on the sheep to share your opinion. You just compel them by will, desire, belief, to manifest, and it actually helps them because you don't do things that are destructive completely to yourself or anyone else. It's about balance. Working with Lamashtu took me into some very, very, very dark areas. Let me give you a brief rundown on her. So, who is Lamashtu? And where does it come from? And how is it associated with Lilith? If you have Mascom Hole, you get a very in-depth study of Lamashtu. The newer workings that I'm doing go even deeper and uncover some very interesting things which are useful to anyone practicing Luciferian magic or the darker aspects of vampirism. First, Lamashtu is first dated to have shown up in inscriptions and texts and incantations around the Middle Bronze Age. And she's originally considered to be Assyrian Akkadian, who all the way went down through Samaria, all the way throughout the ancient Near East through the Iron Age. Lamashtu is known in Sumerian logogram as Dimi, or D-I-M-M-E. Lilith is a night spirit, and one of the names is Dimeji, which is Lamashtu of the night, same as Lilith, the vampire spirit. Lamashtu is the daughter of Anu and Ki, the underworld earth goddess. That union is the same union that created the 7 evil gods, the Sabeti, the chaos bringers and blood drinkers as well, rebels, and she's also the sister of Ishtar, the goddess of war, love, and ultimately a feminine manifestation of what we now call Lucifer. Lamashtu is not bound to any specific order in nature. She doesn't control anything or oversee anything in nature in that pantheon, any of the pantheons. However, she requested to drink the blood of babies and eat their flesh, as she wanted those type of meats. Her the father Anu said, well, those humans serve the gods, etc., and didn't like that, so she cast herself out from the sky of which Anu resides. So she has powers. However, she's called a goddess and has powers, and is not restricted even in her rebellion. And some of the descriptions I'll read you, like from different incantations. She, as Labartu, the hag, vampiress, demoness, she shows up as living or coming from a swamp. She's fierce, terrible, destructive, powerful. She's a goddess and is awe-inspiring. That's associated with Melam or Melamu, the divine radiance, which the gods and demons possess. Inherently the black flame. Her feet are those of an eagle. Her hands mean decay. Her fingernails are long. Her armpits unshaven. Her fingernails are razors. She is dishonest, a devil, a daughter of Anu. Her mother here is called Antu. She sent her down from heaven to earth, and the daughter of Anu counts the pregnant women daily, follows the heels of those about to give birth. She counts their months, marks their days, and she says, bring me your sons, let me nurse them, bring me your daughters, that I may place them at my breast. She loves to drink human blood, eat flesh not to be eaten, and picks bones not to be picked. One of the name associations of Dimi or Lamashtu is related to Lilitu, which is night. Lamashtu is associated with a root word in Ugaritic, or Canaanite, or Ugaritic, as flame, the bitch of fire, which is one of the two flames of Tunanu or Leviathan. And this fire is a primordial lust, desire, etc., drive. She is called often the heat, the feverish heat, and she is associated with some sickness here and there. And but she has a magical quality in that, invoking Lamashtu as a type of model deific mask for developing the astral body, the imagination connecting with the vampiric or primordial night side aspects, forging and creating and compelling your shadow to expand in darkness. Those are things spiritually that you would utilize Lamashtu for. I've created, because I was having problems using just the Lilith, traditional Lilith statue for Lamashtu, because there's a contrast in appearance. The night goddess appears as beautiful, except for the talons of the bird of prey, etc. But Lamashtu appears grotesque and therionic or beast-like. She has the face of a lion, also one of a wolf. She can take the form of a hag. She has talons, blood dripping. She has beast of the steppe or the wild lands suckling from her body. Lamashtu is, for a practitioner of vampirism, very important because she is the Lilith source. By the way, one that she works with is Pazuzu, who keeps her from killing mothers in ancient mythology. But Pazuzu is the king of Lilu, or air demons, and that, if you ever want to know what Lilith would look like other than the night goddess, look at Pazuzu and Lamashtu. Very close connections there. I'm going to show you the altar image that I've created for Lamashtu over the past couple weeks when I have time. I've used my blood, I've used different elements, human bones, in this clay to forge this altar image of Lamashtu. I created two, and I'll explain that. Using these to project and focus on during meditation, before dreaming, before sleep, is a very creative aspect of empowering this fetish of sorcery. As you can see, the significance and the practice of working with specific idols, as in statues, dolls, things like that, goes back to the origins of what is now Luciferianism. We're talking about pre-Chaldean Bronze Age, people using dolls through the Iron Age and the late Hellenistic period of Alexander the Great. In Mesopotamia, dolls were found, and statues that were used in healing, cursing, and all types of magic. In ancient Greece, there was a major trend, if you will, of people using dolls in curse rituals. Because I don't have access to a statue of Lamashtu like you do Pazuzu, I decided I wanted one for dream projection, vampirism, and Lamashtu is a perfect primordial foundation for left-hand path Luciferian ideology, antinomianism, and the spirit of the adversary. And I'm going to speak symbolically concerning the creation and how these are, so understand I'm not being literal with all of these things. As far as this particular Lamashtu, I wanted something to project, to use in dream sorcery, and also as a means of devouring energy that may come to me. And of course, guys, keep in mind I'm speaking subjectively, so you don't have to believe this. I'm not asking you to believe anything I'm saying or believe in a spiritual realm. A lot of people coming into Luciferianism get confused, thinking that is he atheistic or theistic? I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. What does matter is that spirituality develops through practice and experience. As you gain that, the way your brain's wired, the way you were raised to think, and how you currently think is going to shape whether you believe in a spiritual existence or not, an astral one or not. And just because Christians tell you that without God, how could there be anything? Well, there can be a spiritual existence outside of the bounds of Christian definition. So just give that a thought, and always be rational, but be willing and open when you do have experiences. So this, I wanted something to use in dream sorcery projecting, vampirism, lycanthropy. Lamashtu here, this is following the description in all the various texts that we have. She has the lion head, but the lion's actually accentuated into like a lion-wolf. I kind of did a hybrid thing. The teeth, obviously, for rending flesh. The skin tone is not much like a lion. It's more like something undead created from darkness itself, shadow. The eyes are burning and serpent-like to relate the malamu or black flame. The wings are from a blackbird that I found years back and cut the wings off of this dead bird and kept them. It's always good to keep things like that, I guess. The hands are black talons, and it's all shadow terminating up into a gray flesh. The dog suckling at her breasts because she feeds the violent predators of the steppe or the wild. And the bird, like eagle talons for gripping in flight, all terminating out of shadow, snakeskin foundation, etc. I've got an actual spider polyurethane down, representing a different type of night creature. This Labartu is the hag Babylonian version of Lamashtu. Lamashtu shown with different forms, and this one I created a hag mask for meditation on dreaming. The old face you can easily take off, and then you have the Lamashtu lion, more lion face. Utilized in the same way with like a type of dress on this Labartu and a dagger. But the whole purpose of these is to project them with a type of extension of your will, of your life, if you will, your life force. And in doing that, you can project in a type of vampirism or dreaming sorcery in the Babylonian fashion. My grimoires Mask and Whole and Dragon with Two Flames outline different practices you can utilize in nightmare sorcery and so forth. So always, like I've always said, be willing to experiment and create your own as you need. And Luciferianism can expand with practice, and you can go into the depths or heights that you probably wouldn't consider before. Thanks.